What's up? It's your boy Usher.
What's up, y'all? This is Beyonce.
Yeah, it's your boy Chris Brown right here.
Playing nothing but the best.
It's the K.L.P. Aftermath.
Right here, so keep it locked.
It's the K.L.P. Aftermath.
You're locked into the man. Check this out. Here we go. It's time. You're live and in the mix with ATL's own
K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Hi, this is Rihanna.
Hey, what's up? This is Ludacris.
What's up, y'all? This is Nicki Minaj.
You're rocking with the best. It's the #1 station blazing the airwaves.
Right here, so keep it locked.
What's up, y'all? This is Beyonce, and you listening to my station.
Powered by the Core 94.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here. It is the K.L.P. Aftermath. Welcome back to the show. Of course, we're in the studio T. Of course, we got Tyrus Lester in the building, ladies and gentlemen. And I had to start off with the intro like that because, you know, a lot of people thought that we were going to get canceled today because of the storm. Yes, we're in the studio, and yes, it's thundering and it's raining, but we wanted to give you guys a show. I was not passing down today's show, T, because it is a Wednesday. And typically, if you guys don't know what we do, on Wednesday nights, we do like 3 podcasts a week. And then Thursdays and Fridays, we kind of take a break and we work on our shows or our films or whatever we got to work on. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we officially closed. So, of course, I wanted to bring you guys a podcast simply today because I had a great day. And there's so much that we need to talk about on today's episode. So I'm going to do my very best to kind of cover everything, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, like I say, welcome to another exciting episode of K.L.P. Aftermath. I'm your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. We've got Tyrus Lester in the building. Make sure we sound good for our radio stations of Swinky 93.3 and Emory 94.6, the radio station. So we have everything hooked up and ready to go. But if you guys do hear thunder, I'm sorry. It's been that day. It's been a very gloomy, sad, rainy day. I hate it when it rains, y'all. Let me tell you, I really hate it when it rains and it's thundering and it's cloudy all day because it just ruins the mood. And it just ruins the mood, right? Because, you know, it's thundering, it's raining, and you can't do all the things you want to do today because it's raining. So quite a few things of ours here at K.L.P. Entertainment got canceled because of the rain. So I knew one thing that we just couldn't cancel for you guys. We couldn't cancel today's show because I wanted to give you guys a show for today. And of course, before we get on to the topic of conversation, of course, stay tuned later for Spotify video, YouTube, and Daily Motion at K.L.P. Entertainment. Of course, we got episode 2 of our spin-off series, The Hitman, will be released. And also, we're streaming it on K.L.P. Entertainment Network over at twitch.tv. All you guys got to go to is twitch.tv/K.L.P. Entertainment. It's there. You guys can see all of our shows, Vox News. You guys can see the K.L.P. Aftermath show, obviously streaming on Twitch. And of course, our new series, spin-off series from 101 Games. And of course, Horizon Pictures, The Hitman. Of course, we're putting a little spin to it. Episode 2 is going to be released this week. I can't wait because we've been working nonstop behind the scenes in our animation studios. So that way we can produce a good show. Now, T, enough about K.L.P. Entertainment news. Of course, you know about it because I text you about it. I met with Ox Speaks today. A little bit of college news before we get on to the juiciness of today's show. And you did ask me how was the meeting, and I said I'm gonna wait until I talk about it here on the show because there's so much we've got to talk about. So I did meet with Nicholas and blanking out on the young lady's name. I hate that I'm blanking out on her name because I met her too. Representatives from Ox Speaks, and we talked about so many great things. We had a great conversation of where Ox Speaks is going. We've had a great turnout of ideas we want to do, and they have invited us to come on the show of Ox Speaks to talk about radio, and they're going to ask me some questions, and it's just going to be a great podcast. And then later on, we're going to be having Ox Speaks on the K.L.P. Aftermath. So it was a great meeting. It was great meeting the representative of Ox Speaks. I do encourage everyone to go out there and follow their Instagram, follow their show on Spotify. They got a great show running, and it's not going anywhere. They've got so many good things. The recording room over there in Oxford College of Emory University, they're building the room up for Ox Speaks, and I can't wait because they're getting newer equipment. They're getting a new mixer. They're getting couple new headphones, and I was just kind of telling them, you know, when you're running a podcast show, it's a lot more than just turning on a microphone and recording yourself. It's so much. It's a whole production. And I said this in previous shows before. When we do our nightly show, K.L.P Aftermath, there's the microphone, there's the mixer, there's the fountain power, there's the computer, there's the streaming service to make sure we're streaming right, there's lights kits, there's green screens, there's a script, there's a teleprompter. There's just so much that goes on to running a radio show. And I was kind of giving them some advice, T, and they were very accepted with the advice. I told them they're doing something great, and I can't wait to see the future of it. Ox Speaks, again, follow their Instagram over there at Ox Speaks. Follow their show on Spotify, like it, comment, subscribe. They did mention that they have a forum on their Instagram that they want to utilize for a lot of students to send in questions, reviews, feedback, and also RSOs and student-run organizations over there that have events coming out later on in the future. Send it to their forum so that way they can promote it on their announcements on their podcast. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of students that tell me that they've been listening or they've heard of Ox Speaks. Now, very, very excited for them. I'm happy to kind of be a part of it. Now, they already did have a faculty advisor. So the faculty advisor, that professor, she beat me to it, but I did reach out and said in our meeting, I said, you know, if they ever need a new advisor for some crazy reason, maybe the professor's busy and she just doesn't have time anymore, or something else came up that she can't be the advisor, I told them, hey, I could be y'all's advisor. I am your co-counsel. I am your consultant. If you ever need help with something, let me know. My office is always open. So I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited for the future of Ox Speaks. Getting them some pointers, and they're sticking to the college campus, so they're not looking to brand out too much to the world, and I completely understand that, y'all. Believe it or not, growth is good because, you know, with Emory 94.6 we're international, but maybe you have this organization that you want to just keep at home and you want to keep it in the circle of Oxford College. So I get it, I understand it. I told them, this is what I said in the meeting, I really hope they keep on to the tradition of the show. I hope that they don't start something for this month and then where you have the current president and vice president as they graduate to the Atlanta campus, I hope Ox Speaks doesn't take a break. I hope that whoever picks it up really well. I hope no one picks it up and then put it down and then no one heard of their newest podcast as of yet because they haven't made it, and they take a break and then they take too long of a break and then they forgot that they have a podcast and then that's it. So I really do hope they keep on to the train, keep on the tradition of this podcast, because T, I told you, and you know, they're doing something there, and I can't wait for their future. So moving on to, of course, the juiciness of today's podcast here today. You guys know how we have to do it. We have our second page news and our first page news. Of course, we're going to talk about our second page news, and basically this is a movie review, of course, officially on the K.L.P Aftermath. You guys can see this movie right now on Netflix, and ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about that new movie from Ryan Reynolds, starring The Adam Project. Of course, you guys can read about it today. We published today's article from the Vox Times. If you guys don't know what the Vox Times is, of course, you guys can Google it, of course, out there, but also on the official Instagram of Kennedy Lucas Publishing's LLC. That is the publishing company that works on, now established this year, but works on Element Magazine, the Emory Times, and the Vox Times. Of course, in the Vox Times, we wrote the article reviewing the movie The Adam Project. And of course, I'm going to give you guys my take on this movie right now here on the podcast show, K.L.P Aftermath Season 2, live from the studio, of course. And I got to say that this movie is really, really good. And this is not just your typical sci-fi type of movie. It is a sci-fi movie, obviously, but this movie is very heartwarming. It's very heartfelt. There's a true story to it. And Ryan Reynolds pulled off all the stops in this movie. Of course, Ryan Reynolds plays this character called, his name is Adam Reed. He goes through time, of course, his Ryan Reynolds character is, you'll see him at the beginning of the movie. Spoiler alert, by the way. Sorry, guys, I forgot to mention that. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie right now on Netflix, because I'm about to spoil some things. But Adam Reed, played by Ryan Reynolds, it is set in the year of 2050. He steals a ship from one of the old bosses that's in the movie. That's kind of, I mean, it's relevant, but you know, he time travels back into the year of 2022, of course, where he meets young Adam Reed. And very, very excited for sure, because that young Adam Reed is going through some things. You know, his father's not really in the picture in that year. He's, you know, getting bullied in high school. He's disrespecting his mom at home. So he's just, you know, I don't want to say a trouble kid, right, T? But he's going through some things as a young 12-year-old. Of course, getting bullied, not having the father figure in that year, and not being respectful for his mom. You know, there's a lot of things that goes on with him. He's lonely, but then, of course, Ryan Reynolds, Adam Reed, the older adult Adam Reed, comes back into the year 2022, of course, to redo some wrongdoings and kind of rewrite history and delete time travel, of course, because his wife gets killed by it starts with M. I think it's Monica or Melanie. I can't remember now. I'm blinking now. But of course, the main boss, Soren, I think that's the name of the company that invents technology. And of course, he wants to rewrite history. He wants to delete time travel so that way his wife doesn't die. But then it's a tricky situation, because once you in this whole sci-fi thing, once you do something in the past, you know, it changes your future. That's the whole time travel. Of course, Back to the Future expanded on this. A lot of sci-fi movies expanded on this. Avengers Endgame expanded on this heavily. Of course, it was good to see Zoe Saldana in this character. She plays Ryan Reynolds' wife, and it's very interesting that you have Ryan Reynolds, Zoe Saldana, and Mark Ruffalo in this movie, because those three are from Marvel. You think about it, Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool, Zoe Saldana with Gamora, Guardians of the Galaxy, and now you have Mark Ruffalo, Hulk, to play in this whole different movie. So that's really cool, because it's kind of a networking kind of thing. You have these mega superstars that are in Marvel Studios type movies, and now they're doing a whole spin-off to it. Shawn Levy, of course, he is one of the directors of Free Guy. I think he did a Marvel movie as well. I think he did I can't remember what Marvel movie he did. I think it was Deadpool. Honestly, I think Deadpool, it was his work, I think. Comment below. I might be wrong on that. But it's really good to see Shawn Levy work with Ryan Reynolds yet again, and to perform a great movie. This movie is very heartwarming, because you have the younger Adam Reed, the kid that, you know, is getting bullied, disrespects his mom, and then of course Jennifer Garner's in the movie. She plays the mom, and it's just one of those things that it's very heartwarming and heartfelt. You really feel for the kid, right? Because everybody knows when they were 12, 10 years old getting bullied, and I don't know about the father figure part, because I did have my dad when I was 10, but yeah, still do to this day. But you kind of feel for the kid, right? You feel heavily for the kid about doing some things out and just making sure. And I had to look back, y'all. I'm sorry, that thunder kind of scared me a little bit. You can hear it, but you really feel bad for the kid, because, you know, he's trying to figure his life out. But as he sees his older self, and of course the wife dies, and there's a story with the mom, you know, in Ryan Reynolds, Adam Reed, the older character, you can sense that something happens to the mom, right? Because there's a scene where, you know, after Adam Reed, the older and younger kid, they have a spat. He goes out, goes for a walk. He goes to a bar and sees his mom back from the past, and you can tell that there's a teary-eyed scene there. You know, going down to history, and you can tell in 2050. Adam Reed, Ryan Reynolds' character, his mom possibly dies. Now they don't explain too much on that. We don't know what happens to Adam Reed, Ryan Reynolds, the older version. We don't know what happens to the mom, right? They didn't explain that in the movie, but you can pretty much pick up where he is very very emotional when he sees his mom from the year of 2022, and he's from the year 2050, where okay, something happens to the mom. Maybe she dies, maybe she gets kidnapped, maybe she gets killed. We don't know. They didn't expand on that, but you can pick up on the emotion. Like I say, this movie is really, really good. I really recommend people going out to see this movie. It's a great Netflix film, right? And you know, Netflix, we all know sometimes Netflix is a hit or miss when it comes to their movies, but this is a movie you do not want to sleep on. It's a great movie, and I was very engaged with this movie. And you know what I always say, T, and I say this because we talk when we do our movie reviews. A movie is good when you're not on your phone and you're on the edge of your seat and you're really watching the movie. If it comes to a point where you're watching a movie and 90% of the time you're watching this movie, you're on your phone dabbling on social media, that movie's probably not good. So again, the Adam Project is available right now on Netflix. I really recommend that you guys do that. Of course, Mark Raphael's character comes into the mix of it because he helps out Soren to figure out time travel. He's a professor, and you know, he's been kind of absent with the family because he's working on quantum theory and time travel. When you see Mark Raphael perform his character, you kind of see a little bit of Bruce Banner from, of course, obviously Marvel, because he plays Hulk and Bruce Banner, but you can kind of see that, but then you can kind of see a comedic side of it too. So it's very cool. You know, it's not a generic story. It really is not a generic story. There's a lot of action into this, but it really expands more onto time travel and quantum theory and time travel again. And, you know, it's that science type movies where we all make a movie about it. We all know the theory about it, but this is a movie that it's that, but it has a little bit of emotion to it. It has a little bit of sentimental value when it comes to these movies. So again, the Adam Project, don't sleep on this movie. This is a movie I recommend you guys seeing. And if you want to read about my review, of course, we have it available right now, The Box Times by Kennedy Lucas Publishing LLC. So of course, you guys can go to that. Instagram is K.L.P Publishing. One word on Instagram, and then it directs you to issue.com. If you go to issue.com, you can type in Kennedy Lucas Publishing, is right there. The Adam Project, read all about it. Of course, next T, of course, we've got our front page news, and of course, we are getting ready to talk about that delicious Burger King. Now, I say delicious as the thunder comes in, and you guys probably can hear that right now, because that, you know, it's in the studio, it's late at night, it's raining, y'all. Of course, we're going to talk about Burger King, because I actually read about this tea a couple days ago, and we couldn't get around to talk about it because we had other things to talk about this week, but I'm going to talk about it because this is a story that needs to be talked about. And now, it's rare that I talk about fast food chains. I say to a lot of people, actually, a student had asked me, she asked me if I ate dinner, and I told her, yeah. And I said, yeah, I'm more of a cook though. I don't, it's rare that I go out to eat. And the reason why that being is because as I work out, as the thunder comes in, y'all, you guys can hear that. That's coming. It's loud, y'all. It's going to be like that for the remaining of the podcast. So I apologize, but the show must go on. But I told the student, like, yeah, I mostly cook my dinner because, you know, I'm on a health kick. I try to eat things a little healthy. So you're not going to catch me eating at a McDonald's. You're not going to catch me eating at a Burger King that much. I did eat a lot of Taco Bell in New York, though. Believe it or not, Taco Bell in New York it was so scrumptious for some strange reason. But it's rare that I eat out. I cook most of the time. I bring my lunch or bring my dinner from my house to the office if it's a late night, because it's just a healthy thing for me. The thunder's coming, y'all. My producer's saying we need to wrap this up because we have lights and stuff on. So we're going to wrap this up real quick. I'm sorry, guys. It's just, you know, the Thunder's not playing ball with me. But Burger King's accused for false advertisement and lawsuit alleging Whoppers are too small. Of course, the suit accused of the fast food chain of making its food look bigger in the ads compared with what it's served up to the customers in reality. Now, I wanted to read about this, and this I might be surprised about this because again, I haven't had Burger King in years, y'all. It's not the kind of Whopper Burger King wants to be associated with, but the South Florida lawyer has filed a federal lawsuit seeking class action status, alleging that the Burger King is misled customers by portraying its food as being much larger compared to what it has been served in customers in real life. I think this actually might count as elephant in the room because we don't have an elephant in the room, but this might count as a bit because you guys are really out here trying to sue a fast food chain just because the burgers are smaller than the actual commercial. You really gonna and maybe they might win this lawsuit, right? It's one of those things. If they win this lawsuit, hey, you charge it to the game. You made some money off of this, but you're really out here in Florida suing a fast food chain because your burger is a little bit smaller than what they have on the commercials. This is one of the most dumbest thing that I've ever heard, simply because I just wouldn't waste time over this. If McDonald's said that, the fries look gigantic on the commercials, that's what I want to pay for, and I end up getting what I need just to satisfy my needs of my hunger, I wouldn't waste time on a class action lawsuit because folks are out here greedy and eating this greasy, unhealthy food. I'm baffled about what people try to sue companies over for. Now, if it's legitimately hurting or harming you financially or physically, yeah, it's a lawsuit, right? But buy another burger. Like, I don't understand why you have the need to have a class action lawsuit because the burger is smaller than the actual advertisement. If you want more burger, just buy another burger. These burgers probably cost about $3, so it's nothing for you to just buy another burger. So I don't get the point of this lawsuit, but this is the elephant in the room, I guess, is for today. But the suit brought by attorney Anthony Rosso alleges that Burger King began inflating the size of its burgers in images around September 2017. Before that, the suit claims that Burger King more fairly advertised its food product. Today, the size of virtually every food item advertised by Burger King is materially overstated. The lawsuit says Rosso and the plaintiffs he is represented singling out advertisement for Burger King trademark Whoppers, saying that the entire burger is 35% larger than the real life version. Again, folks, honestly, and this is me being on my health kick just a little bit, and I say just a little bit because there's going to be a time where I'm going to Chick-fil-A or I'm going to when you think about the places I go for fast food, I'm not going to Burger King. I'm not going to McDonald's. I think we all need to stop eating this this fast food, sugary, fast fat type of food. I think we need to make sure we watch our diet. I think, and then this is not a slander on Burger King. It's not a slander on McDonald's because they're making billions off of this, right? But I don't see the point of this lawsuit. Go eat a salad. Go eat something more healthy. If you want more out of your burger, buy 2 burgers. Buy 3 burgers if you're just that greedy. I just don't think there's a purpose of this lawsuit. I honestly think this lawsuit's not going to go that far. I think the judge is going to really laugh at this because I'm laughing at this lawsuit and saying, you just really ain't got no time on your hands. Why, are you going to work or something? You have 0 time on your hands because you're advocating a lawsuit because you're greedy. I think this is a way for people to sue companies to get money because things are tight, right? Their money's tight these days. I think this is a way for him to say, hey, there's a way that I can try to win some money off this corporation because number 1, I need money, could be the case, or number 2, I am greedy and I want a bigger burger. Again, if you want more burgers, or you want more out of Burger King, order and buy more stuff. These things are cheap. It's not going to cost you a fortune to buy 2 burgers instead of 1. If that's the case, I just think this is nonsense. And believe it or not, people are trying to sue everybody for the most ridiculous things that I can't even fathom, T, because it's just one of those things. Now, and I criticize a little bit. Honestly, I'm a big advocate for health, right? I want people to go out there and start eating healthy. I don't want people eating McDonald's every day and Burger King every day. 20 years from now, when I have kids, and I say 20 because I ain't looking at the kids right now, but 20 years from now, when I have kids, I don't think I'm going to expose my kids to Burger King or McDonald's. They're going to start eating healthy, whether it doesn't have to be super duper healthy, but I'm going to try my damnedest. Excuse my French, but try my damnedest when my kids are born 20 years from now, maybe 25 years from now. I'm going to expose them of healthy eating and exercise and make sure that what we're putting in our body is good nutrition for our body. I'm a huge health guy now because, believe it or not, back in 2015-14, I was a fatty. You know, I ate McDonald's, I ate Burger King, I ate Panda Express and all the unhealthiness. But as I'm getting a little bit older, right? Because next month I'll be 26. Not saying that that's super old, that's super young, but I'm starting to understand the ways of eating more healthy. And I think a lot of people should do that. Attorney Antonio Russo, you just need to eat healthy, my friend. And this is not worth a lawsuit. I don't understand this lawsuit because I don't get it. Before we close out today's show, of course, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're going to talk about women's basketball. Of course, yesterday we talked about South Carolina winning into the Final Four. But I want to talk about Purdue's basketball, women's basketball, undergoing a massive roster turnover. Of course, this transfer portal is a double-edged sword. That's the quotation there. Great for containing teams to add the last piece of the content for a championship, or detrimental to a team trying to evaluate the program. Of course, Purdue's women's basketball has fallen under latter category. Of course, since the end of the season, Purdue is now seeing 4 players put their names in the NCAA transfer portal. That's not good. Ahead of next year, of course, that was Janae Terry, Medid Ariyomi, Brooke Moore, and Rashana Kyle will be taking their talents to new schools in the coming months. Of course, on top of that, seniors, of course, Nigoya Gani and Ajay Stallings and Rakia, I can't pronounce her last name, are not returning either. This is a huge upset for Purdue. Purdue's a good school, by the way. It's a great program to be a part of. I didn't go to Purdue, but I'm hearing that it's a great program. And this is really sad and really unfortunate when you have players to transfer out the program to go to a different program. You want to try to keep, especially when you're in university, you want to try to keep players in the same market. You want to keep them on your roster because these could be, again, these are 4 names that are top spot in the NCAA, and now they're on the portal to be transferred to a different school, a different program. You can't really fault some of these players because you got to think about it, guys. This is college, right? This is a university to where maybe it's expensive for the players. Maybe their scholarship is not enough to cover their expenses when it comes to their college credits and their college courses. So they're probably looking for alternatives to save money and to get a better scholarship. And honestly, some of these schools, and I think this next part, what I'm going to say, I think it's against the rules, but there's a lot of things where other schools can go to a different school to recruit players out of that program into their program. If the money's right? And we do things where, hey, you show me the money, right? And I always say, always take the money, show me the money. If the money's right, then yeah, I'm going to consider transferring over to a different program. So this could be the case too, guys. This is similar to the last season that Carissa McLaughlin, Tamara Forquier, Fatu Dagami, and Kiana Traylor all transfer out of the program. Of course, that is now a staggering 9 players who have been transferred in the span of close to a year at Purdue. From the outside looking in, this does not appear to be this chain between players and coaches. Rather, a new era of Purdue basketball is here. And it could be a new era, right? You know, Purdue's big, and I'm sure Purdue can recruit and go to these different high schools and see players and see how good they play and then offer them a scholarship and get them tried out. So I'm not worried about the Purdue women's basketball not being the best because of these players transfer. I think that these 9 players that did transfer, they did what they might have done, what they had to do, right? Like I mentioned, Maybe the scholarship is just not there. Now a lot of player scholarships have been kind of iffy the last 2 years since COVID-19, and sports athletics wasn't performing in 2020, and then the beginning of 2021, everyone took a break. We couldn't play, and we can't pay you if you can't play. This could be a whole bunch of different reasons why Purdue's women's basketball has a high rate of transfer for the women in basketball. So you can't fault them too much, T. And hey, when it times comes to where you got to do what you got to do, you got to do what you got to do. There's been many of obstacles to where I had to do some things where I had to do them because it just presented itself that way. So my best of luck to Purdue University. I think they can do a lot of recruiting, and they'll get their player status back up, and they will be stronger than ever. Maybe, who knows? So we're going to follow closely with the NCAA and women's basketball throughout the month of April. So that's going to wrap it up here on today's show, the K.L.P Aftermath. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's show. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Spotify video. And if you're also listening to the audio version of it, thank you. Share it with your friends, letting you guys know that K.L.P Kennedy Lucas was live tonight for another exciting show. Stay tuned for next Tuesday. Of course, we're going to be shutting it down. Last podcast of the week, but next Tuesday, we're going to be coming back with so much more goodness for the K.L.P Aftermath Season 2. So that's going to wrap it up here. I've been your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas. Tyrus Lester over there producing us for tonight's show. This is K.L.P Aftermath. We'll see you guys in the next episode. As always, I like to say, stay safe, stay swanky.